A very good evening. You're watching News at 6 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top stories of the day. Anti-triple talaq bill introduced by Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad in the Rajya Sabha. Opposition wants bill to be sent to select committee for better parliamentary scrutiny. Leader of House Arun Jaitley says Supreme Court verdict makes the law mandatory within 6 months. Dalit leaders call off Maharashtra Bandh to protest the violence triggered in Pune during the 200th anniversary celebrations of the Koregaon Bhima battle. Issue disrupts proceedings in both houses of parliament. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approves new aims in Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh. Project to be undertaken at a cost of 1,351 crore rupees under the Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana. And United States mulls new regulations to prevent extension of H-1B visas. Move will impact thousands of Indian IT professionals from keeping their H-1B visas while their green card applications are pending. Starting with the big story of the day, introducing the triple talaq bill in Rajya Sabha today, the government underlined the urgent need of a legislation, saying the Supreme Court verdict on the issue made it mandatory that a law be enforced within 6 months. Discussion on the issue could not take place as the opposition demanded that the bill be sent to the select committee for further scrutiny. As the deadlock over the bill prevailed, the House was adjourned till Thursday.
The Muslim Women Protection of Rights and Marriage Bill 2017 or the Triple Talaq Bill was introduced in Rajya Sabha on Wednesday by Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. The opposition parties, however, demanded that the bill be sent to the select panel of Rajya Sabha to plug some gaps in the proposed legislation.
That this House, being strongly committed to women empowerment and women's rights, refers the Muslim Women Protection and Rights on Marriage Bill 2017 as passed by the Lok Sabha to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha.
Your amendment. I beg your permission to move that the bill be referred to the select committee.
सब महिलाओं को लिए एक कानून आना चाहिए सिर्फ एक वर्ग की महिलाओं के लिए
Leader of the House Arun Jaitley questioned the permissibility of opposition's resolution, sent the bill to the select panel as it defied the established conventions of the House. Jaitley also underscored the need for an exigent legislation by Parliament on triple talaq in line with Supreme Court's verdict.
The motion has to be given at least 24 hours in advance. The motion has to have a consent of all the members who have agreed to be on the committee. And the procedure with regard to committees in the House is that there is always a proportionate representation in accordance with the strength of all political parties. Suddenly you pick up. What is the kind of parliamentary practice that you are creating?
With no visible respite or conciliation in sight, the chair adjourned the House till Thursday.
House is adjourned till 11 hours Saturday on 4th January.
Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Our correspondent Navvikram Singh spoke to the Law Minister on the issue. Let's listen into what he had to say.
रविशंकर प्रसाद जी, एक अहम विधेयक 3 तलाक को लेकर आज राज्यसभा में पास नहीं हो पाया। आपकी पूरी कोशिश थी, किस तरीके से देखते हैं, क्या वजह रही, विपक्ष का रुख कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, मोटी बात क्या है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने इसका लोकसभा में समर्थन किया था जी। हमारा वहाँ बहुमत था, अच्छा लगा हमें। जब बिल पारित के बाद सबों ने ताली बजाया, हमने बजाया, उन्होंने भी बजाया, तो राज्यसभा में क्या हो गया? बिल तो वही था, उधर लोकसभा थी, राज्यसभा थी, तो यहाँ आपका चेहरा दूसरा कैसे हो गया? ये बड़े सवाल है। तो कांग्रेस पार्टी नहीं चाहती दिल से कि महिलाओं के हक की लड़ाई में उनको जल्दी न्याय मिले। आज भी 3 तलाक हो रहा है, 100 तो हुआ है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के 22 अगस्त फैसले के बाद जो जानकारी में आया है।
राज्यसभा में आपका नंबर उस तरीके से नहीं है कि पास कराया जा सके। जो आपके सहयोगी दल हैं, AIDMK हो या दूसरे दल, वो कांग्रेस की तरफ झुकाव है, सिलेक्ट कमेटी भेजने पर बात चल रही है, उस पर आप किस तरीके से उन्हें मैनेज करेंगे?
कि कांग्रेस पार्टी से हमारा नंबर राज्यसभा में जल्दी उनसे बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा, ठीक है? इसी का दुरुपयोग कर रहे हैं। छोटे दल से हमारी चिंता नहीं है। सही सवाल कांग्रेस पार्टी का है। दोहरा चरित्र, दोहरा चेहरा, दोहरे मानदंड लोकसभा में एक बात, राज्यसभा में दूसरी बात। सिर्फ 3.5 क्लॉज का बिल है ना, उनके तो बड़े बड़े विद्वान वकील राज्यसभा में बैठे हुए हैं, तो बहस में अपनी बात कह देते। उनका सही सलाह मैं सुनने को तैयार था, लेकिन उनका इरादा सेलेक्ट कमेटी का कम है, बिल को रोकने और लेट करने का कम है, ताकि खवातीनों के साथ बेइंसाफी होती रहे।
सर, आखिरी सवाल, कल की क्या उम्मीद करें? कल बिल पास हो सकता है या फिर इस सेशन में?
हमारी पूरी कोशिश होगी कि महिलाओं के हक के लिए हम लड़ें। कांग्रेस पार्टी से उम्मीद करेंगे कि वोट बैंक की पॉलिटिक्स में इतनी बार हार चुके हैं और कितना हारेंगे।
तो आप देख सकते हैं कि सरकार की तरफ से रविशंकर प्रसाद जी का साफ कहना है कि जो पुराने बिल हैं पर वोट बैंक की पॉलिटिक्स को छोड़कर सभी दलों को साथ मिलकर इस बिल पर वोटिंग करनी चाहिए। कैमरामैन डी के पांडे के साथ नवविक्रम सिंह, राज्यसभा टीवी।
And on to the other big news of the day. After day-long angry protests by Dalit groups across towns and cities in Maharashtra following caste clashes, the Bandh was finally called off today. Sporadic incidents of violence paralyzed parts of the state during the protests, while pockets of Mumbai and its neighbouring areas like Thane and Goregaon witnessed disruption of road and rail traffic. Arson and violence was also reported from other towns and cities of the state.
The Maharashtra Bandh was called off by Dalit community leaders on Wednesday. The community was protesting against the violence that hit a Dalit celebration and left a 28-year-old man dead on Monday.
Today's Bandh has been withdrawn by us. Along with me is Ashok Dhauli of CPM, then Prakash Reddy of CPI, and the 250 organizations that we have.
The violence that broke out during the 200th anniversary celebrations of the Bhima-Koregaon battle paralyzed the cities of Mumbai, Pune and Aurangabad as Dalit groups took to the streets. 9 people were detained by the Pune rural police in the riots in Bhima-Koregaon. Normal life was disrupted in Mumbai as protesters attacked city buses, stopped suburban local services and blocked roads. Schools and colleges also remained shut for the day.
ये गलत है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। प्रोटेस्ट होना चाहिए, कोई अगर इशू है तो बड़ो पीसफुली होना चाहिए। ऐसे लाइफ डिस्ट्रक्शन करके प्रॉपर्टी और ये जो बस व्हीकल ये सब डिस्ट्रक्शन करके कुछ फायदा नहीं है, इससे कुछ मिलने वाला नहीं है।
ने किसी को स्कूल के लिए ऑफ है करके नहीं भेजा, पेरेंट ने का खुद का डिसीजन था कि वो भेजेंगे, तो हार्डली 50 चिल्ड्रन वर देयर, सिर्फ 50 बच्चे आए थे, तो फोन करके हमने बोला कि वो भी पेरेंट आके लेके जा रहे हैं।
Thane and Goregaon witnessed disruption of road and rail traffic. Section 144 was imposed in Thane area till midnight of January 4th. In Aurangabad, despite heavy police presence, protesters threw stones and vandalized vehicles. Administration also suspended internet services for the day. In Nagpur, most schools and markets remained shut and bus services were disrupted as protests were held in sensitive parts of the town. A man was also injured during an incident of stone pelting. Meanwhile, the state government has ordered a judicial inquiry into the root cause of the violence.
जहां अन्याय हुआ है वहां जांच के आदेश दिए हैं और मुख्यमंत्री का कर्तव्य है कि किसी भी वर्ग पर, किसी भी समाज पर अन्याय ना हो, यही मुख्यमंत्री करते हैं। वही मुख्यमंत्री ने 3 साल तक किया है, तो उनकी अपील को जनता सुने। मैं भी अपील करता हूं कि शांतता बनाए रखें। जिसने भी गलती की है उसे बख्शा नहीं जाने की बात सीएम ने कही है।
Political parties reacted cautiously over the violence, appealing for restoration of peace.
ये राज्य सरकार को मालूम था कि हर साल 3 लाख 4 लाख लोग वहां जमा होते हैं, तो किस तरीके का वहां पर पुलिस की व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए थी और किस ढंग से वहां पर सबको प्रोटेक्शन देना चाहिए था। तो इसमें महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट ने उसमें फेल हुआ।
हम पुरोगामी प्रोग्रेसिव स्टेट, आदर्श स्टेट कहते हैं देश में, वहाँ अगर इस प्रकार का जातीय दंगा भड़के और लोग एक दूसरे के खिलाफ रास्ते पर पत्थरबाजी करें, आगजनी करें, ये ना राज्य के लिए ना देश के लिए अच्छी बात है।
We ought to have known that even if the little sparkle, concerning a Dalit's death had been noticed, whether in Pune and Aurangabad or any other place within Maharashtra, he should have had sufficient intelligence information that we have to guard all the Dalit bastis.
The violence started on Monday after a man was killed in clashes between Dalits and alleged right-wing groups during celebrations to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Bhima Koregaon near Pune. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And the issue resonated in Parliament as well. Opposition parties disrupted proceedings of the Rajya Sabha today. Parties demanded a discussion on the issue. Due to the opposition's protest, the proceedings were adjourned thrice in the upper house.
Soon after the House took up formal business for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu allowed Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad to make his submission. However, other opposition members tried to speak on the issue simultaneously. As the uproar prevailed, the chair was compelled to adjourn proceedings till noon.
Nothing shall go on record. Nothing shall go on record, either print or electronic also.
When the House resumed for question hour, similar scenes were witnessed. The chair urged the members to allow the House to function. As the opposition refused to relent, the chair adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Even in the post-lunch session, the opposition parties disrupted proceedings over the same issue, leading to the adjournment of the House till 3.
House is adjourned up to 3 p.m.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the issue of violence in Maharashtra was raised in Lok Sabha as well, with the Congress demanding a statement from Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the House. Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge also asked that the matter be probed by a panel led by a Supreme Court judge. The government, however, countered the Congress charges by saying that the violence in Maharashtra had affected the entire country.
A Supreme Court judge should be appointed, and he should inquire this, not the state, because the state government has taken a decision that is a different thing. But here the Prime Minister come and make a statement. I demand, it is my demand.
Madam, our party and our leader Mamata Banerjee believes in harmony between classes. Any clash between two groups or two castes is condemnable. I think that the Maharashtra government failed totally in anticipating the situation and preventing the violence.
मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी जो महाराष्ट्र में समस्या शुरू हुई है उसका निदान नहीं करना चाहते हैं, उसको भड़काना चाहते हैं, उसमें राजनीति करना चाहते हैं। यानी कांग्रेस आज के दिन में हताशा में है।
Moving on, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has given a go-ahead to a number of decisions. The Cabinet has given its approval for establishment of new aims in Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh, under the Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana. The cost of the project will be around 1,351 crore rupees. It has approved amendments in the model concession agreement to make the port projects more investor-friendly and make investment climate in the port sector more attractive. Jal Marg Vikas project for enhanced navigation on the Haldia-Varanasi stretch of National Waterway 1 at a cost of 5,369.18 crore rupees with the technical assistance and investment support of the World Bank. The project is expected to be completed by March 2023. The Cabinet also approved the extension of norms for mandatory packaging in jute materials. The decision would sustain the core demand for the jute sector and support the livelihood of the workers and farmers dependent on the sector. The Cabinet also approved construction, operation and maintenance of two-lane bi-directional Zojila tunnel with parallel escape tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir. Memorandum of Understanding between India and Israel on cooperation in the oil and gas sector expected to provide impetus to India-Israel ties in the energy sector. Agreement between India and Myanmar on land border crossing. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri today filed his nomination as a BJP candidate for a lone Rajya Sabha seat in Uttar Pradesh. The by-polls for the Rajya Sabha seat was necessitated following the vacancy due to the resignation of Manohar Parrikar, who returned to Goa as its chief minister. Diplomat turned politician 65-year-old Puri was sworn in as a minister in September and was allocated the Housing and Urban Development Ministry. Since he was not a member of parliament, he has to enter either the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha within the stipulated 6 months of taking oath. The Election Commission announced the elections last Friday. The last date for filing nominations for the election is January. Polling and counting of votes will take place on the 16th of January.
अपने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष श्री अमित शाह जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा, यूपी के अध्यक्ष पांडे जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा और प्रधानमंत्री जी जिन्होंने मुझे मंत्रिमंडल में लिया और अब राज्यसभा में वो और योगी जी ला रहे हैं, उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा। यूपी का भारतीय राजनीति में, इतिहास में, संस्कृति में एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है और किसी भी भारतीय नागरिक, किसी भी व्यक्ति को यूपी को रिप्रेजेंट करने का मौका दिया जाए, मैं समझता हूं इससे बड़ा सेवा का कोई और राजनीति में मौका नहीं हो सकता।
Moving on, China has never acknowledged the existence of Arunachal Pradesh. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said this today. Ministry spokesperson Geng Shuang said this in response to media reports that the Chinese troops had intruded into the Indian territory in Arunachal Pradesh for about 200 meters, close to a village in Upper Siang district. Now, according to the report, the Chinese troops reportedly crossed over with the construction machinery last month, but were stopped by Indian soldiers. Following this, the Chinese troops reportedly left the construction equipment behind. The report further claims that the Chinese intrusion in Arunachal Pradesh reportedly took place around the same time when National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and his Chinese counterpart Yang Jiechi held the 20th round of border talks in New Delhi on the 22nd of December. The Chinese Foreign Ministry, however, refused to comment on the intrusion and asserted that China's position on the border issue has been clear and consistent. China claims Arunachal Pradesh is part of South Tibet. The United States is considering new regulations to prevent the extension of H-1B visas. The move is part of President Donald Trump's Buy American, Hire American initiative. It will impact several tech firms and hit thousands of Indian IT professionals. The move will directly stop foreign workers from keeping their H-1B visas while their green card applications are pending. The initiative aims to impose new restrictions to prevent abuse and misuse of H-1B visas, besides ending the provision of granting extension for those who already have a green card. The H-1B visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. companies to employ foreign workers in specialty occupations that require theoretical or technical expertise. It is typically issued for 3 to 6 years to employers to hire a foreign worker, but H-1B holders who have begun the green card process can often renew their work visas indefinitely. The proposed changes would have a dramatic effect, particularly on Indian visa holders, considering more than half of all H-1B visas have been awarded to Indian nationals. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reopened a key cross-border communication channel with South Korea for the first time in nearly 2 years, considered to be a major diplomatic breakthrough following a year of escalating hostility that could pave the way for future talks. Now, this comes after Kim's New Year's address on Monday, when he said he was willing to send a delegation to next month's Winter Olympics in South Korea.
South Korea has welcomed North Korea's decision to reopen a long-closed border hotline for Korean talks. South Korea confirmed it had received a call from the North.
어제 우리 측이 밝힌 판문점 남북 연락 채널의 정상화 제안에 대해 북측이 호응해 나온 것을 환영하며 이 판문점 연락 채널을 통해 어제 제의한 남북 당국 회담 개최와 관련된
North Korea made the announcement to reopen the hotline almost 2 years after it was disabled on the orders of leader Kim Jong-un. The talks aim to establish a formal dialogue about sending a North Korean delegation to Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in South Korea next month.
우리는 최고 지도부의 뜻을 받들어 진지한 입장과 성실한 자세에서 남조선 축과 긴밀한 연계를 취할 것이며
Meanwhile, the US has expressed skepticism on North Korea's move, saying that it is up to South Korea whether to hold talks with the North. US President Donald Trump also tweeted that his nuclear button was much bigger and more powerful than the North Korean leaders.
We won't take any of the talks seriously if
they don't do something to ban all nuclear weapons in North Korea. We consider this to be a very reckless regime. We don't think we need a Band-Aid, and we don't think we need to smile and take a picture. We think that we need to have them stop nuclear weapons, and they need to stop it now. So North Korea can talk with anyone they want, but the U.S. is not going to recognize it or acknowledge it until they agree to ban the nuclear weapons that they have.
China, on the other hand, said it welcomes and supports all efforts by the two countries to ease tensions on the Korean peninsula.
朝方参加平昌冬奥会等释放的积极信息，这是一件好事情。中方欢迎并支持朝韩双方以此为契机，为改善相互的关系，推动缓和。
The two Korean nations have not held high-level talks since December 2015. North Korea cut off communication channels then, reportedly refusing to answer calls. According to the South Korean Unification Ministry, there are a total of 33 direct lines that North and South Korea once used in order to communicate with each other. This particular phone line, established in 1971, is based in Panmunjom. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's now take a look at some other international updates in Global Buzz. The United States accused Pakistan of playing a double game on fighting terrorism and asked Islamabad to take decisive action against militants operating from its soil to earn the American aid. The message from the United States came after US President Donald Trump tweeted that America had been rewarded with nothing but lies and deceit by Pakistan in return for its $33 billion aid. US Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley supported Trump's decision to block aid to Pakistan and said there are clear reasons for suspending aid and Pakistan has played a double game for years. A Canadian man who spent 5 years with his family in militant captivity in Afghanistan was arrested in Ottawa and faces several charges, including assault and forcible confinement. Joshua Boyle, his wife and 3 children arrived back in Canada last October. The police have laid 15 charges against Boyle, including 8 counts of assault, 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of forcible confinement and 1 count of uttering death threats. At least 48 people died after a bus tumbled down a cliff onto a rocky beach in Peru. According to the police, 36 bodies were transferred to the morgue of the town Chanque, while another 12 bodies were still trapped inside the bus. 6 survivors who are suffering from serious injuries were evacuated to hospitals. The bus was carrying some 50 passengers when it crashed into a trailer truck and skidded off the road about 48 kilometers north of Lima. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.